So we don't know how to do civilization without war, right? We don't know how to do it where we actually have reasonable ways of resolving differences and et cetera. So it's a fundamental shift. So if you say we're really talking about getting off win-lose game theory completely, that's the phase that we're at. That's, of course, unprecedented, right? It's unprecedented in the whole story. But as you said, unprecedented shit actually is the precedent of universe when you take a very long view, which is, let's say that life originated on this earth and the model of cosmogenesis that we use commonly is true. Neither of those are true, but let's just take them as true for a minute because it's a good analogy. Then you got 12 billion years of universe existing and doing all kinds of shit and making galaxies and stars and supernovas and all this stuff, and it never made life. And you would think if after 12 billion years of interactions, it would have kind of exhausted its search space. So life is not possible, and then fucking life happens. And it's totally unprecedented based on the things previous, right? And then you go on and on, all of human history, 250,000 years right before the plow. And we didn't actually have economics. We only had ecology. We were part of an ecology, but we didn't have surplus. And without surplus, you don't have private ownership, you don't have economics, right? So then economics emerged unprecedented and on, right? So it is actually the precedent of universe in the long view to do unprecedented shit. And so the shift for us right now is if we look at Kurzweil's curves of everything getting exponentially better in terms of compute power and the corresponding power to make better biotech and address health issues and solve problems, it's true. All of that's true. All those exponential positive curves are true. If you look at all of the decrease in biodiversity and increase in pollution and damage of the biosphere and increase of existential risk probability, all the negative exponential curves, they're all true too. And people cherry pick the ones that they like from the data set to cause a confirmation bias. But when shit is getting exponentially better and exponentially worse at the same time, neither of those are actually happening. It's just that the phase is destabilizing, right? The movements away from the homeodynamic center line is getting further and further. That means you're moving from one type of organizational complex system into a chaotic phase, which will be a liminal phase, and then you'll get the emergence up into a higher degree of order or an entropic drop down to a lower degree of order. That's the precipice we're on the verge of, and it is not economic. It's economics, governance, infrastructure, culture together, right? And we can say, but economics is a good way of thinking of the heart of it, because economics can be seen as the interface layer between our values and the way we build the world. The value equation, right, which is that the air is worth nothing because we're only valuing things that give us competitive advantage. Our value systems get codified into an economic value equation of how much actual value that confers real power we give different things, right? A whale swimming in the ocean has no economic value to anyone currently. A dead whale on a fishing boat might be $1 million in whale meat. So this is why we are fishing out the oceans and causing species extinction en masse, right? But that's a value system, right? That is a mimetic, spiritual, existential, ethical value system codified as a value equation that determines what we confer power and advantage to, what ends up winning, and how we actually build infrastructure in the physical world. So changing that is actually at the heart of and requires change in infrastructure, change in the corresponding social structures, governance, law, et cetera, and in the worldview.